This man is absolutely unhinged right now. He casually pulls a live grenade from his pocket and yeets it straight into the group of people. This video is sponsored by sheer chaos. Everyone scatters like cockroaches in the light. But suddenly, amidst the panic, a guy built like a twig sprints forward. He dives straight onto the live bomb, willing to sacrifice himself for the squad. This is Steve Rogers, main character energy, a superhero from the Marvel Universe, the one and only Captain America. Since childhood, he dreamed of serving his country. But his health bar is permanently at 1%. He applied to the army 5 times. Rejected every single time? Down bad. Getting a job is harder than fighting Thanos. Back in the World War II era, the Nazi villain Red Skull is plotting. He stole the Tesseract's cosmic power and built a massive army of laser weapons. The US needs a counter to this madness, so they cooked up a super soldier serum to upgrade a normie into a god. The doctor who made the juice sees potential. He likes Steve's pure heart and guts, so he decides to give the kid a shot. Recruits him into a top-secret unit. Day 1 of training is absolute torture. He has less stamina than a grandma. Climbing a wall takes him 3 business days, but his brain is actually massive. The officer orders them to grab a flag. Nobody can climb the pole. It's impossible. Steve just pulls the pin and drops the pole. Grabs the flag effortlessly. Works smarter. This move impresses the beautiful Agent Carter and secures his spot for the experiment. The doctor gives him a final warning. The serum isn't just a buff, it's an amplifier. Good becomes great, bad becomes worse. It cranks your personality up to 11. Knowing the risks, Steve doesn't flinch. He hops into the transformation pod. The chamber closes. It's go time. They inject him with the blue spicy juice. When the doors open again, a miracle has happened. Glitch in the Matrix, the 5-foot weakling is gone forever. Replaced by a 6-foot absolute unit. Even his pants grew taller. Magic fabric. Everyone in the room is losing their minds. The first super soldier is online. But suddenly the vibe shifts. A spy in the gallery crashes the party. He blows up the lab instantly. Boom! Snatches the last vial of serum and shoots the doctor dead. Tragic. The spy tries to flee the scene. Steve is absolutely fuming right now. He isn't the slow kid anymore. Running barefoot through the streets, chasing the car like a cheetah. Whoosh! He's moving so fast. New body controls are still calibrating. He overshoots but keeps the pressure on. The spy tries to escape in a sub. Steve dives into the water, Aquaman style. Punches through the glass. One shot. Drags the spy out like a wet rat. Throws him onto the dock. Get wrecked. The spy is coughing up the ocean. Pew! Pew! Spy tries to shoot back. Steve dodges perfectly. Reflexes are cracked. But the spy bites a cyanide pill. Game over. He took the easy way out. Investigation reveals it was Hydra all along. So now we have a huge problem. Steve is the only super soldier left. The army treats him like a rare collectible. Too precious to fight. They bench him. They make him a circus monkey for bonds. He has to wear tight spandex on stage. Dancing for crowds day after day. Cringe. He even stars in movies. Hollywood sellout. Fans love him. He's famous. They call him Captain America. But the real soldiers on the front lines, they think he's a joke, a mascot. They roast him constantly. Emotional damage. Steve feels useless. Depression hitting. He feels like a glorified show pony. Just a punchline in a costume. Luckily, Agent Carter comes to comfort him. She drops bad news. The 107th is captured. That's why the soldiers were salty. Steve realizes his best friend Bucky is there. That's his brother. He has to go. He asks permission to save them. Command says no. Classic bureaucrats. So Steve decides to go rogue. Solo mission. Agent Carter backs his play. She's a real one. She gets Howard Stark to fly them in, because Stark has that billionaire money. Private jet straight to the danger zone. Steve drops behind enemy lines alone. Sneaks into the Hydra base like a ninja. Freeze the prisoners. Let's go. Finds Bucky strapped to a table. Bucky looks at Steve and is confused. Yo bro, did you get taller? You're huge now. He's shook. Let's chat later. Base is exploding. They gotta run. The place is crumbling. Suddenly, they run into Red Skull. Boss fight. Steve steps up, face to face. Red Skull laughs at him. Disrespectful. Skull throws a punch. Steve blocks it. Dents his shield. That punch was heavy. They trade blows. Bam, pow. But the base is literally falling apart. Red Skull peels off his human mask, revealing the red, bony face underneath. Ooh, Steve is stunned. That's ugly. Skull was the first serum test subject, but his evil soul corrupted the process, turned him into a red tomato man. Skull escapes in a jetpack. Coward. The explosions get worse. Fire everywhere is getting hot. Steve barely makes it out alive. But he saved over 1,000 soldiers. Returns to camp like a boss. Legend. Put some respect on his name. But the war isn't over yet. Steve isn't stopping. He wants smoke. Vows to wipe Hydra off the map. Builds his own elite squad. Goes to Stark for gear upgrades. Gets his iconic vibranium shield. With the shield, Steve looks goated. Leading his boys on a rampage. Destroying Hydra bases left and right. Red Skull sees his empire burning. He is mauling and seething. The fight continues. Non-stop action. Cap and the boys have perfect synergy. wrecking wave after wave of enemies, taking out tanks like they're toys. Red Skull is desperate now. He plans a nasty trap. Dirty play. During a train mission on a mountain. They get ambushed. It's a setup. Bucky tries to cover Steve and falls off the cliff. No! Tragic backstory moment unlocked. Red Skull is truly ruthless. He decides to nuke the USA. Steve is grieving but locks in. Focus mode activated. It's personal. He fakes being captured. Big brain. Rides a motorcycle straight into the base. Jumps off the bike mid-air. Smashes into a goon. Take a seat. Steve stands up ready to brawl. A minion attacks from the left. Steve throws the shield. Bonk. Catches it on the rebound. Stylish. Hits 2 guys at once. Multi-kill. Knees a guy in the face. Sleep time. Snaps a neck. No mercy today. Steve is on a rampage. Another goon tries his luck. Steve spins and kicks him into next week. Sends him flying 100 yards. Yeet! A minion with a flamethrower appears. Steve dodges the flames. Too hot. Suddenly he's surrounded. It's a mosh pit. Steve stops fighting. Wait, what? Lets them take him to Red Skull. Skull starts monologuing. Standard stuff. Just yapping and yapping. Then tries to execute Steve. Cap is on his knees. Tension rising. Just as Skull pulls the gun. Crash! The Howling Commandos bust in. Spraying bullets everywhere. Surprise! The main army charges the gates. Hydra goons are getting folded like laundry. Skull realizes he's cooked. Sprints for the exit like a coward. Hops on his super bomber plane. Loaded with nukes aimed at New York. Steve chases him down the runway. Running like his life depends on it. Punches 3 guys on the way. Bam! Kicks a guy into the stratosphere. Another uppercut. Sit down. These minions are just XP farming. He leaps into the air. Steps on a box for boost. Parkour. Grabs a rope on the plane's wheel. Swings through the air like Spider-Man. The plane is taking off. Steve keeps climbing, grinding hard. But he's losing grip. Peggy drives up in a car just in time. Steve jumps into the car. Fast travel. They speed alongside the wheel. Steve waits for the perfect moment. Peggy gives him a goodbye kiss. Nice. Now, he leaps onto the landing gear. Once inside the plane, he finds more annoying NPCs. Smash! One guy goes down the hole. Steve lands, but they swarm him. Another minion on the right. Steve punches him in the throat. Ooh, blocks a hit. Counters with a hook. Smack. Another one bites the dust. A pilot tries to shoot him. Steve pulls a knife. Whoa! Throws it perfectly. Bullseye. 4 guys try to rush him. He punches through a guy's guard. Uses full power. Critical hit. Smack. The goon explodes into the wall. The impact is insane. Another punch. Electric shock. Steve slams one guy. Don't fight back. This pilot flew to Japan just to die. After clearing out the trash mobs, Steve finally reaches the cockpit. Red Skull is waiting. Final boss. Skull shoots an energy blast. Steve blocks. Close call. Skull isn't scared. He charges. Rushes in for a melee fight. Steve kicks a minion out of the way. Takes a punch to the face. Skull lands a heavy hit. Steve kicks back. Steve gets up fast. Takes a boot to the chest. Ouch. Counters with a backhand. Smash. Hits Skull's shin. They grapple and wrestle. Steve flies forward. Tackle. Slams Skull into the controls. Both of them hit the floor. Steve grabs a heavy object. Bashes Skull's head in. Savage. Grabs his upper body. Puts him in a chokehold. MMA style. Skull throws him off. Super strength battles. This fight is actually kinda awkward. Facing Red Skull again. Bam! Takes a punch to the gut. Bam! Returns the favor. Skull stumbles forward. Headbutt. That's using your head. Steve recovers his shield. Throws it. Hits Skull right in the kidney. During the chaos, the cube drops. Skull crawls towards it. Greed. He grabs the cube to power up, but the energy is too much. Overload. It opens a portal to space and sucks Red Skull into the cosmos. Bye. The cube burns through the floor and falls. But the plane is still heading for New York. The autopilot is locked. Can't stop it. Steve makes a tough choice. He has to crash the plane into the ice. He calls Peggy on the radio. Tells her he's going to be late for the date. Promises to dance with her later. The plane nosedives into the Arctic. Crashes into the freezing water. Silence. Cap is gone. He sacrificed everything for the win. A true hero. Press F to pay respects. Because of men like him, the world is safe. For now. Cut to black. Man opens his eyes, finds himself in a 1940s hospital room. But wait, something feels sus. The baseball game on the radio is old. Steve senses the glitch. Where am I? He's confused. 2 guards enter. He beats them up. Smashes through the wall and runs. Looks around. Times Square. Oh my god, the screens are huge. This world is completely alien to him. Everyone watching him like he's crazy. It's 70 years in the future. Nick Fury walks up. At ease, soldier. Tells him the hard truth. You've been asleep, Cap. For almost 70 years, Steve stands in the busy street, shell-shocked and alone. He just says one sad line. I had a date. That hurts. That's the end of Captain America. First Avenger, Thanks for watching the recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe. He wakes up in a hospital bed. Wait, I already said that? No, flashback. Just kidding, he's actually awake now. The doctors are trying to calm him down, but he's too strong for them. He bursts out the doors, running into the modern world. Cars everywhere, loud noises. He stops in the middle of the road. Look at his face, pure confusion. The camera pans around him, showing the lights of New York City. Fury explains the situation again. The world has changed, Steve, but we still need heroes. Steve takes a deep breath, accepts his new reality. The movie ends on this cliffhanger, setting up the Avengers movie. What a ride it has been. That wraps up our story for today. Thanks for tuning in, legends. Smash that like button for part 2.